Thank you for joining me today. I'm interviewing Pierre Hedgepeth, and I'm interviewing him due to the pandemic going on, and I'd just like to know how this has affected his life in general today.
Well, let me begin by saying my name is Pierre, and thank you for having me
You're
on
welcome.
this interview and selecting me to be a part of this. Well, COVID has affected me in many ways. My family has been affected, one, by contracting the disease or it being, in contact with my family. So it definitely had a scare and, what was going on as far as in my household. And due to COVID being contracted in my household, I was out of work for almost a month. So I kind of lost out, because they don't really pay you the same amount that you would get paid if you were working on the job or anything like that. So it's like, wow, this is supposed to be COVID relief, but it's not really helping anyone. And then they came through with the $600, which I still haven't received yet. And it's like, wow, so COVID has affected me in many ways, affected my children in many ways where they're used to going outside and playing on the playground and, just being children is now it's just everything is so viral. So like I can't be mad at them if they're worried about the latest game coming out because that's the only thing they could worry about right now.
Right.
They really can't worry about the latest race car or stuff like that because you can't even watch this stuff. You can't even buy tickets to like an event anymore. So life has definitely changed within itself. Like movies are being released on Disney Plus instead of in theaters.
Right.
So it's like I gotta buy subscriptions for Disney Plus for my children. And it's like, wow, this is really like life has really changed, and it's becoming to the point where I don't know if you've seen the movie Surrogates, and it's like everybody was. Well, it's a movie, and it's about everybody just sitting in the house, and they have this robot that look exactly like them that doesn't age, but it looks like them whenever the age that they want them to look like or whatever, and people just age, and they're using this surrogate to walk around, and they can't walk, can't eat. None of that is just like being feeded off like a machine. You know what I mean? So it's like that's their life, you know, and it's becoming to the point where as though that may be our life because right now we're so dependent on, virtual learning. From children, virtual learning. Like that's another effect, like from kids being dropped off to school. Now we have to be more engaged in virtual learning where I work majority of the day. And if I was a single parent, it would be hard for me because how would I be able to side my children and still be able to go to work during this pandemic?
Right.
So,
okay. And so can you let me know some of the things that are going on in your life currently, right now?
Pertaining to...
Just in your life, like goals or
dreams,
desires.
I have many goals. Like, my first goal is to always be better than I was yesterday. So if I wake up better than I was yesterday, that's me reaching my goal.
Okay.
That's a step towards the ultimate goal. So like a lot of people, they're focused on an actual thing. I don't focus on things, because things are just things. It's just that, it's just nothing. It's frivolous.
Okay.
I focus on more of the aspect of achieving.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So if I'm achieving something throughout the day, that's the best thing I can do for myself because I put my best foot forward and I let my story be told by my actions and not by my words.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Okay. So where do you work and how has the pandemic affected you on a daily basis?
All right, so I work at UPS right now currently, and the COVID has definitely affected us, from the way we handle packages, from the way that we check in, from testing, from everything. Like, everything is different, So protocol has definitely changed coming to that aspect of UPS. Like, we're very, very careful on how we deliver the packages and how we care for the packages. Like, we have tests every week.
Okay.
We have to, abide by a certain amount of packages that's been outputted, and we gotta also be accountable for the packages that are damaged.
Okay.
You know, so it's like a lot of things that have
So
just
work has
like
changed like completely.
completely.
Since like before COVID and
Right,
currently. And then
completely.
you already said like with your children, like it's
Mm-hmm.
more so like you're involved a lot more with the
Exactly.
children. So that's a lot as well, like on you
Right.
and your spouse.
Right.
Okay. And I guess my next question would be, how do you feel about like the test and the vaccine and things like that?
Well, I believe, to be honest, I believe what helps mankind, but
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, it's always going to be risk.
Mm-hmm.
The risk of not taking a vaccine is actually hindering your family and everybody around you. But the risk of taking the vaccine is just hindering yourself. You know
Okay.
what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's all about the sacrifice you're willing to make. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if you take the vaccine and it works out good for you, cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you don't take the vaccine, things just turn dramatically for you, cool. You know, you feel like you weather the storm, then weather the storm. It's all on you. Like, I'm not gonna push the vaccine on anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, I feel as though I'm one of them people that have to see people taking the vaccine to actually be like, oh, let me get a vaccine. You know,
Okay.
so I have to actually see it work.
Yeah.
You know,
Because I
because
know that it started in a university, Oxford University,
right,
and about so currently, like the statistics are about like 70% of people are like not really developing any symptoms. But the thing about it is sometimes some people don't develop any symptoms with COVID.
right,
So I
with
think the
COVID.
thing that kind of concerns me. So I'm just like, I just want to know, like, would you take that vaccine? And like, how do you feel about like your children taking it, your family taking it? Is that something you would try? Do you think it's more so like an experiment, or?
With anything in the beginning of the stages of
Mm-hmm.
anything, and I'm gonna say this since beginning of the times, I'm not taking it until people actually begin to take it and I see it, I see it's working and it's proof. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Like I can't deal with just hope, false hope, you know,
Okay.
like at the UPS we deliver the vaccine, you know, and we go through classes to care for the vaccine
Mm-hmm.
and how we supposed to care for the vaccine and deliver the vaccine. So I understand it's very serious, and I
Yes.
understand at the end of the day.
Especially since you said your family,
Right.
and
Yeah. So I
has been
understand.
attacked with
So
it
definitely,
along.
see, the thing is, like you said, it's different strands of the vaccine. The
Mm-hmm.
vaccine, I mean, different strands of the
COVID.
virus.
Yeah.
So the virus that we had was more so of the loss of taste and smell. So you didn't really have the vaccine where you
Mm-hmm.
were sick and, you know, had respiratory problems and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that.
Yeah.
So it's definitely 30 strands of the vaccine, and
I didn't
I
know
mean
there's 30
from
strands.
it's
That's a
30
lot.
strands. It's
Okay.
30
But I
strands of
know
COVID,
it's been almost a year since this vaccine has started. It's
and it's
affected the
mutated.
schools. It's just affected
Yeah.
work. It's affected, like just everything
Mm-hmm.
worldwide. Everything is shut down right now. There's no eating in.
Right.
Like there's just so much. Everything has changed. You have to walk out the house with a mask on.
Right.
You have to protect yourself, your children, your family. Like you said, you've had it. It's
Yeah.
scary. Like you walk out in fear every day. And
Fear,
you're
like
working at
it's crazy.
UPS with a
Yes.
mask on.
And
You're also, what
sometimes
are the
three
other things that you're
masters.
doing besides just working at UPS? Because I know you have other hobbies and other dreams and goals.
Well, I mean,
So,
besides UPS,
mm-hmm.
that's my part-time job, but I do music full-time. So at the point of doing music, it really has hindered me because last year, before all this COVID stuff popped up, we was
Mm-hmm.
doing shows and events and
Studio events.
studio
Yeah,
events
like
and
how does
stuff
that
like that.
affect you right now, your brand, your
I
business?
mean, it affects a lot because now from me pulling up and doing interviews with
Mm-hmm.
people, I have to actually do the interview viral
Okay.
because it's like you don't want to take the chance pulling up on somebody
And not know if
and
they're
not
being
know if
safe.
they been safe or who they have been in contact with. And you know, with me, I'm protecting my whole family.
Mm-hmm.
So like right now, it's just like a building stage for everybody. You know, and COVID has affected everybody
Mm-hmm.
from politics. Like we look at politics, COVID has affected politics so much, like that we're at the point of wow, like it's
Right.
separation of government. It should
Mm-hmm.
never be like that. Like we had the Capitol storm because of basically
We've
the
had
effects of
so much go
COVID.
on,
Like
yeah.
so, it's like
Especially in DC. You're from DC,
right, yes,
which
especially in
we didn't
DC.
really touch base on.
Right,
Born and
because
raised.
it's definitely a touchy subject because
Mm-hmm.
locals really don't get wrapped up into the politics, and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people fail to realize that we really don't. Like, they'd be like, "Oh, you from DC?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all, what's going on?" It's like we're not wrapped into that, like
Yeah,
we're
but it
wrapped
still
into
affects
the
you on a daily basis, right? Like,
right, but we're more wrapped into like who's running the wards or
okay.
who's running Ward 5 or who's running Ward 8,
Mm-hmm.
who's running this community gathering or who's helping this recreational center because that's what really matters. Like, we're not really worried about the politics because at the end of the day, like, it
Mm-hmm.
matters, but it doesn't really matter to us because in reality, we're worried about the guys that actually help.
Mm-hmm.
Like the congressmen, the school boards,
Right.
stuff like that. That's stuff that we concern ourselves with as
Okay.
locals and
Mm-hmm.
Washingtonians, and sports too. Like, we're big on sports too as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it has affected us crazy on sports. Like, we going crazy. Like, we went
Right.
to the playoffs this year and we wasn't able to get any tickets to
Mm-hmm.
it. Like,
Yeah, I know they have
yeah,
virtual
like.
events right now, but I'm not sure like how the difference is between virtual events and like being there physically. I've been to like one basketball game. I've been to no football games, so I'm not sure like how that impacts.
Well, it impacts a lot because now
Okay.
you're like, you have like these Oculus form
Mhm.
glasses on. I don't know if you
Okay.
know what the
No.
Oculus is. It's like virtual reality or
Okay.
whatever. There's
The
like,
VR things.
right,
Okay.
VR thing. So
Okay.
it's like you're paying all this money just to be sitting right there looking at the game. But the
Okay.
whole time I'm
So you
looking
have to
at,
have those on while you watch the game.
right, while
Okay.
you're watching the game. And it's
So if you
like,
don't have those, you're just basically out of it.
watching it on TV.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why do that when you're just watching it on TV?
Okay.
I mean, it's an experience,
Mm-hmm.
but at the end of the day, like, it's not an experience of being there or front row tickets or back, you know what I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
box office tickets. You don't pay $200 or $2,000 just to sit in the box and you're like, hey,
Yeah.
like,
So you
you're,
still have to spend the same amount. That's kind of how I feel
yeah,
about like in my yoga sessions. I'm
right,
spending $100, a month for them,
right,
and it's virtual, but it's not the same as it would as being in person. But being in
exactly,
person, you have to wear a mask.
right.
You can't breathe right, so it's like an adjustment. So with that going on, like, do you feel like we'll ever go back to normal, or like we'll ever be without a mask, or like
I
how do you feel
mean,
about that? How do you feel about people that don't wear masks in public? Like,
I feel like people that won't wear masks in public is definitely hindering humanity.
do you
Like,
feel like that's why the rates
I mean,
rise a
like,
little
yes,
bit?
because
Okay.
you're being poor about how you conduct yourselves,
Mm-hmm.
and you like don't care about nobody else. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you don't know if you have COVID or not.
Right.
Like, you're not being tested because evidently you don't care about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not wearing a mask. But me personally, I advise everybody wear a mask.
Mm-hmm.
Maintain your social distance because at the end of the day, like, that could save your life, save your family life or family members, especially if you have older, people in your family, because
Right.
that can affect them as well. Like, so just make sure that, watch as well as pray because at the end of the day, you used to have to worry about getting mugged,
Mm-hmm.
going outside. Now you got to worry about getting COVID.
Has anybody like besides you and your family got COVID?
That I know?
And besides me?
I mean,
Besides
honestly, I had my good friend's aunt had COVID and she died from COVID.
Oh my goodness.
She was a
Sounds
photographer.
hard. Okay.
She for a big magazine. I'm not gonna say the name of the magazine or anything, but she
Okay.
worked with a lot of artists or whatever. But
Okay.
she recently died, and it hurt us, because she was definitely like, one of them people you meet, you like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I know it forever. You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn.
Mm-hmm.
But she died from COVID because, not because of her, but because of the fact of the line of work that she did.
Oh my goodness.
So the fact that she had to be out there all the time,
Mm-hmm.
photographing, like shooting and chasing the next story or, just trying to keep up with the trend,
Right.
she ended up catching COVID and it affected her in a bad way. So she already had bronchitis and other, respiratory problems. So it just took her out, so.
So do you think this disease could have been prevented if like we would have been safer and restaurants and things like that?
No.
Or do you?
No.
No, you don't think
No.
so?
Because
Why
at
so?
the end of the day, COVID couldn't be predicted. It was spontaneous.
Okay.
You know, COVID hit the world, and when it hit the world fast. You know, for us to say that if we all had started wearing masks in the beginning and this and that, it still wouldn't have mattered, because at the end of the day, you can catch COVID from just touching like
Something
this,
that's not,
you know.
yeah.
So it's like it
Not
doesn't
wiped down, not
doesn't
clean.
matter if you wear a
But
mask.
I feel like maybe if you went to restaurants and they kept things clean and they did the things that they're doing now before, maybe it could have been prevented. Like cleaning, you know, the cleanliness isn't how it should be. When you go to restaurants, when you go to certain places, you already kind of know they're not going to be as clean as you think they are.
Right.
But you're still going to go there and settle for that. It's like if we would have been safer as people and just, you know, took those precautions and cleaning things before somebody else comes in, maybe it could have kind of been prevented or not been as bad as it is currently.
Okay. I agree with that.
Okay.
Yes, it would have controlled a lot of spread of things by cleaning. And it's just
we don't think about those things now. We think about them.
It's just not restaurants.
Okay.
You know, you got public restrooms at airports.
Oh my goodness, those are the worst.
You got
everywhere.
You got seats in airports.
Uh-huh.
You know, people see them seats all the time. People don't come through and wipe them seats down. Because at the end of the day, they don't care. They just like thinking like, ain't nobody make no trash. We could just sweep the floor, and it's just that. Now you got people sitting in the seat.
What about wiping?
Now you got to worry about doorknobs.
Right.
See now, see, it's so much things that you can't say like it just come from a restaurant. Restaurant plays a big key, yes, but the spread of it could not be contained because of it being, you know, able to just latch onto a surface and last for a minute.
That's kind of good. It goes back to what I'm saying. Like, if we would have been more cleaner as an environment, like,
period,
wiping things down right after somebody.
Trees.
Are you a
like,
tree hugger?
No, I'm definitely a tree hugger.
Okay.
I'm gonna be honest, because at the end of the day, like,
I definitely know once
if we had
I'm
more
gonna go
oxygen,
without a mask and hug a tree.
I mean, I hug trees all the time, regardless, mask or not.
Okay.
I'm gonna be honest, that my feet touch the grass.
Okay.
But, like, if we had more people to be able to speak out for the injustice that's been happening, especially the wildfires that happened in California last summer. Like, that happens every year. We like, damn, how do we control that?
Right.
We control that by not cutting down our trees.
Okay.
We control that by planting more trees. We control the atmosphere that we live in by that. We created a virus by cutting down our trees and shortening our oxygen. Now the fact that we shorten our oxygen, now we got more germs that can grow and fester, and boom, that's what happens. China tell us, oh, y'all need to start wearing masks, and we don't wear masks.
I thought about it, and they've been wearing masks for a long time.
Exactly.
Like, even when you go into nail salons, you go to certain places, they wear masks.
They don't care.
So, like, into that question, how do you feel about things going virtual and, like, you know, just going into the virtual world? How do you feel about that in general? Do you feel like it's a better move for us? I know China's like years ahead of us, so they're pretty virtual with
China
a lot of things.
China is like 15 years in technology ahead of us.
Okay.
But I'm going to say this. Virtual is a good thing and virtual is a bad thing, because at the end of the day, it can hinder us as far as health-wise, meaning that you're not getting outside, you're not exercising. But then
But you can exercise inside, you know?
Right, but it also,
dance.
Virtual, it exercises your mind.
Okay.
So now you're mentally stimulating your brain. So you really concentrating your learning. You're learning with your mental, right? But you're not really working out physical. So you're just sitting here looking at that, and everybody's supposed to be like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, but you're not really going out, working out. You're not going out. You're not eating right. None of that, because you're ordering food. You know what I'm saying? So it's like...
Guilty.
Right. So it's like, it's kind of like really crazy with the whole aspect of COVID.
It's an adjustment. But I think there's benefits as well as, you know...
No benefits.
No benefits?
No benefits at all for COVID. You know why? Because at the end of the day, the way we deal with people in its entirety has changed. The way that you deal with a person, it's
really
changed
touch
the
a person.
game.
Can't.
Dating has changed. Now, Bumble went from making, a couple thousand a year or something like that, to making dang near $1 billion. You know what I'm saying? As a dating website. Like, all the dating websites are actually booming right now because dating is easy now. You can just go online and just put a picture like...
Yeah.
And then now, all of a sudden, everybody's like
Into you.
into you,
Okay.
you know, and it's not
Because everything's virtual. I guess,
everything's
more
virtual.
So. Okay.
You know?
I mean, you can't really just go out and just, I guess, meet
Right.
new people. Right.
Hey, I can invite you on a date on Tag or Tinder.
On Tag or Tinder. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Pierre, for being here with us.
And I appreciate you
letting